sure.
It's muted.
Yeah, the audio's. This is some areas out of my house. Yeah. So this looks really high, but this is about like 200 feet up. You go 400 feet easily.
This is actually coming from Roswell. Right.
Do you see like the building water?
Yeah. So I get live feed of what the drone is seeing from my phone.
Is that which one's this?
Yeah, this is the $800 one.
But the quality of the $45 one is not that much less. This the one you were recommending, you were saying the other day, you know, this one here, yeah.
Buying some of those.
This is like a movie quality, right?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
And there are no stabilization effects on this. The drone has like a motor on the camera to keep it completely stable. Yeah, that's basically it.
Very cool. Thank you.
Can I ask a question, or would
Yeah.
you save questions till the end?
Go right ahead. This is not very structured.
How did you go about getting used to the navigation? Is there some trick to it, or was it
A lot of-
was it
a
is
lot
it
of
just
practice.
because you know how to do hand-eye coordination through video games or something?
My hand-eye coordination is actually pretty terrible.
Okay.
A lot of crashing.
Uh-huh.
This is my fourth one of these in 3 months.
Okay.
That's partly because of students and partly because of friends.
Okay.
But yeah, you just practice a lot, crash a lot, and you get used to it.
Okay, that's good. Good to know. So it is better to get the cheap one.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
If you crash this $800 one once, it's gone.
Zach, I like how you structured it for the how to learn how to fly, like by all the indoor activities and the different exercises, because, well, as you know, because you fixed the one that I let you borrow.
So this is my first session teaching this class, and in one of our third classes we had some of these kids that are already like totally getting the hang of it. They could really easily fly around the gym, so I thought, let's take this outside, take some footage of the school. And within 3 minutes, it was upside down on the roof. And it took 2 weeks to get down. And this is one of the weeks that it rained a ton. It's completely, so there's like ventilation shafts on, or like whatever, grates on the bottom of the drones. So all the rain got into it, and somehow it still flies.
No?
But
Nice.
it's,
Yeah. Thank you. So
Thank
May,
you.
do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your work that you've done with technology in the schools?
Yeah, sure. I'm really happy to be here. So I graduated last year, or this year, and I was a former Winthrop student, so I was part of that program that BHS offers. But in my senior year, I actually did both. So I was in the high school and I took 3 classes, and then I took a couple classes back at Winthrop House. So my high school experience was tough, but this senior year was the best year of my life. And the past years, I can't blame anybody for having a bad high school experience. And instead, now graduating high school, I realize that I'm just more thankful for the people that were really there and supported me and were amazing teachers like Chrissy. Ms. Frazier. I mean, she's total role model, and I really am so thankful for her for making my senior year incredible, and having that transition, that last year of high school to now outside of high school, the real world. It was just such a blessing. And so now I'm looking, at Ms. Frazier, I'm like, what did you do right? Like, why did I have such a good experience? And now it's just the support. And McKenna was talking about doors and how technology information, they're this door, what was it?
That technology is a door, but it's like our teachers who show us how to open it.
Mm.
Right, and Ms. Frazier not only, showed me how to open the door, but just also, like, another metaphor is just to plant seeds in the garden. The tools that teachers are teaching us, that can be the seeds that students, and then the students, they do the growing and watering and the stuff that teachers have to leave the students to do. And so Big gave me all these resources to develop this passion for film, and which is something that I was never exposed to before. And how I discovered Big was just really a fluke, because I dropped the class, and the only other one available was this Ms. Frazier's class, and I really wish that I was able to be exposed to it before. A lot of kids don't even know this third floor exists in the high school, and this floor changed my life. So it's kind of fascinating to me that it's so hard for people to come up here, and so you were talking, Jennifer, in the other room, and I was blown away by what you were saying. It was really brilliant about how we have to integrate technology information in the classrooms. And I took this film and fiction class, so that was the other class I took in the main high school, and also just an amazing class. But combining your class, the digital video class, with this film and fiction class, this film and fiction was just the knowledge based and the information about films. We wouldn't do hands-on film work. And in the digital video class, you get the resources to do the films, and you get the tools to know how to create a film. So combining those two is so powerful, and I just flew with those two classes, because while I was in this class, I was able to integrate what I learned in this class, and then soon it kind of became one class for me. And and it was so amazing, and unbelievable. And the stuff that I developed and created, I was really able to find my voice and a message, and also more purpose. And so I have so much to say. So Winthrop House is also another thing that isn't, there's not much awareness about the program. It's also another kind of life-changing program, and they're doing so much good in Winthrop House. And I like to call it like a safe haven for kids who are in total survival mode, not able to even begin to think about being creative, because all their energy is focused on just surviving and going day by day, trying to do the best that they can. And Winthrop is so great for students like this, because they're tracking every single aspect of a student's life, not just in the school. And ultimately, it's up to the student to venture out that safe haven and make the most of what Winthrop offers. And so doing that transition from every day from the main campus to Winthrop House was so beneficial. The only downside was just the train rides, because it was, with the delays, and in the winter I had to walk, but that was the only downside. And the social part and the supportive part I got from Winthrop half the day, and the other half I got just being by myself, learning to explore socially. And so it's again those two different worlds that are really, they're the same world. And then just combining those two, it really takes you. I was able to fly, like with that. Yeah, there was a simulation. Kathleen? Yes, Kathy.
Bird.
Right, that now we have the technology that you can pretend you're a bird. You can feel what it's like to fly. And now we have these drones, you can see what it's like to be like a bird. But it's important to be grounded, to realize that even though technology can maybe be misled for fantasy, and could be a consequence to it, like we were talking about violence and desensitization to it. So there is a possibility that kids will see technology as just fantasy and it's an escape, but it is part of our reality, it's life. So finding a way to integrate the life with the technology, or what people think is the fantasy, and make it so it's one thing that will take students and everybody just to great heights. Yeah.
Thank you, Renee.
Thank you guys, yeah, thank you.
And McKenna?
Yeah. So one sec, I'll just pull up a video.
And I believe that Tessa actually mentioned you in her keynote too.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so
I think
cool.
you were here about that.
One sec.
What do you need to do?
I want to pull up a video
So you have
from
to go to Finder, don't you?
Yeah.
Is it on it's on the computer already?
No, I need to
It's
just.
on your drive.
Yeah. Sorry. Do you mind if I quit the video for a sec? There we go. So, before I play, I'll just introduce myself a bit. I'm McKenna Binker-Kozen, as you can see, and I got here to Brookline in my freshman year. Before, I grew up in Argentina and Canada, and really until like 5th grade, I didn't interact as much with technology as you think you'd interact, being like one of the generations of the 21st century with, so it kind of became integrated into my life. My first exposure was like, television, just watching cartoons. But I didn't really even grab a computer until like later on. And even when I did, it was just to, play games until I went to school and we had to do presentations, right? And that's when I started using PowerPoint. And somehow, I'm not sure how I ended up doing this, but I realized that if you put slides one after another with small movements, you could get animations, right? And I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. You see the TV, you see the screen, I'm doing this. And so in 5th grade, for an English class, I made my first video, which was Greek legacy. I always get a bit embarrassed when I play it because, well, it's not the best quality that you would imagine, or the most amazing content, but that's my beginning. And then I continued doing stuff because, well, I saw like my classmates were really engaged just because they were amazed that, oh my god, you can do that and you did it, and that's really cool. And well, when I got to Brookline, and I went to my guidance counselor, and I was 3 days late because he wasn't able to talk to me. He had lots of stuff. So I was organizing my schedule, and he's like, okay, let's choose classes. And I saw a digital video. I was like, oh my god, this is my destiny. I need to take this class. And, well, it was full, but thanks to Chrissy, she made a spot for me, and that really changed my life. So here's a bit of what I've done over the past years. Yeah.
Fire! Fire escape! Wait! and yet amazing organs to exist. Studying the brain can feel like a shot in the dark. But what if there could be light? I present you Optogenetics. Ba-ba-ba-da-boop.
So just before it continues, these are different videos that I made for several contests with my friends. So the first one was actually for a summer project. I had, well, originally, one day I was, out and about at school. I saw on the board that there was a contest for the Harvard School of Public Health that on emergency preparedness, and I made a video with a friend, which will appear later on, called Better Safe Than Sorry, and our video got selected, and we got the amazing opportunity to spend the summer learning about emergency preparedness and public health. And this was, the first video was my final product on, that being prepared for emergencies starts with the small ones. Even a fire alarm that many people could disregard. And then the second video is one of my most recent ones that it's still in the process of being judged, so fingers crossed, which was about optogenetics. And optogenetics is the study of basically trying to track neurons in the brain to see what their effects are and how they play a role in the brain. And through light, by putting like certain enzymes found in algae, and I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, but the point is that, as you can see, making films is an amazing opportunity because it immerses you into this world where you can learn so much about everything. Before, I honestly do not think I would have ever approached public health, optogenetics, these things that video gives you the opportunity to explore, because it's asking you to transmit a message. And when you have to transmit a message, the only effective way to do it is by learning it yourself. So the reason I love video is because it puts the learning process on you. It gives you the responsibility to get others engaged, and even if you don't realize it, it engages yourself. So.
And McKenna, before you continue, just to be clear, the emergency preparedness video was for the Harvard School of Public Health, and you won an internship at Harvard over the summer.
Yeah.
It's important to note that.
Well, yeah, a paid internship.
Yes.
And luckily, I'm going to continue. I'm doing a second part. So this video is really something that opens doors, So. This is my final project for digital video. It's one of my favorite videos. It made less sense, but it was probably the most fun I've ever had, mostly because it was just partially improvising based on a script with my friends, and it was a great experience. So here's a clip of it.
Have you broken it? No, no, no. Oh no. No, 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 no. Meanwhile.
Mommy. What are you doing?
Nothing.
This is a promo I made for the BU dance recital.
Dex the safety Rex.
Yeah.
What is that? You're too young to die. Never fear, for Dex is here. Wake up and eat up.
Okay, sorry, that just went really fast. There is a BU promo that someone reached out to Chrissy.
Lynn Modell.
Lynn Modell reached out to Chrissy, and Chrissy reached out to me. thank you for that. And it was really fun, basically. And afterwards, I got the opportunity to go see the dance recital. It was incredible. You guys should check it out this year when they do something. And this next one is Wake Up America, which was for a breakfast contest.
It was a statewide breakfast.
Statewide breakfast contest. We got second place, and it was awesome. So.
Get together with the slow jams and spread that love. Why breakfast? Food equals energy. Food equals brain power. Food equals life. But wait, not any food makes the cut. Imagine, you wake up from dreamland and wake up to the dream. School breakfast. Say what? School's giving out education and breakfast? School's giving out love. I'm talking about fresh fruit, whole grain bread, eggs, yogurt, white milk. School breakfast. What gets you out of bed?
So yeah, that was a compilation of videos, and really what I wanted to say to you guys today is that what I already said, video gives you the opportunity to engage yourself in the world, and it's really through the guidance of our teachers like Chrissy that we're able to go into this world prepared. And the incredible thing about technology is that it has its limitations, and maybe that's what takes us to the greatest creativity, because it's not about having the best computer, it's not about having the best camera, it's about you have a camera and you have, for example, 2 bars of battery. What can you film in 20 minutes? And it's making use of those opportunities you have and working against the challenges that really opens your mind. And yeah, so that's kind of what I wanted to tell you guys today. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Zach, I think you might be able to speak a little bit to this, but how can the schools better foster the use of technology and creativity for you? I know you have tried to teach classes here at Big after school and over at the Driscoll School, and what can we be doing better?
The first thing I want to say is that I haven't had a computer class since 5th grade, and in 5th grade we were learning how to open Google Chrome. So a lot of kids at my school barely know how to use a computer, and some of them think it'll still give you cancer. Which is not a very good mindset for moving forwards, learning how to use technology. So I think one thing the school could do, or schools could do to improve, is just have computer classes. If more people know about what you can do with the computer, I think more people would be using them. And offer just kind of all around more technology. And I think here at Big, some more after school classes for non-high schoolers would be good too. Just because I do have a group of friends and a couple other kids I know of that are very interested in technology but don't have anywhere they can go to learn it. So I end up teaching them, and I can't always teach them everything they want to know. I think to have some more teachers would be really helpful. And yeah, that's basically how I think they could improve technology. Just more classes.
And Megan McKenna, do you have anything that you can add about the high school?
Well, my experience right now is with teachers is with Canvas Instructor and WebAssign. So Canvas Instructor is where you're supposed to have all your classes online, so you can access resources such as the files and your grades and all this other stuff that you're supposed to be able to use. And I know that this is something that continues because my brother also, he's in college right now, and they're also using Canvas Instructor. And there's this, it depends really who you ask if it's good or not. There's many people who can't, who see that Canvas has lots of faults, but I think that it's not because of the faults Canvas has that it's so difficult to work with, but because when a teacher actually uses it, it's important for them to use it to its full capacity if they do choose to do so, because it can be really frustrating for the student to have the teacher try to use its resources but go halfway, so not to use it to its full extent. So if you are going to use this online resource, it's great if you can put your grades up and put comments on those grades. Lots of teachers, they use it and sometimes they don't. So applying a regularity to it, and if you upload some stuff, upload everything, right? So just don't go half the way when using technology. If you're gonna use it, that's awesome, but use it to its full potential. On WebAssign is a resource that basically it allows, I've been using it for chemistry. I have friends who use it for physics and other subjects. It basically gives you the questions and you answer it, and it gives you a check mark if you did it right and a cross if you did it wrong, which can be extremely motivational. Like getting a green check mark is the goal at the end of the day. The problem with it is that it can be extremely annoying because if you don't have the right amount of significant figures, it'll automatically count it wrong. And even so, it won't tell you that's why you're wrong, and you have a limited amount of tries to get a full score. And while getting a grade is not the point of learning, being limited by having your learning being limited by a grade can really distract you from the learning process. Mm-hmm. So not only using these resources, but trying to work with them so they provide the best experience for the student. Many times, teachers, if they put the deadline wrong, it will not appear, and that it's basically very stressful because we have lots of stuff to do in our day anyway, and if it were just available, completely available and reachable, that would make our experience all the more better, because just as like people can get annoyed when they use a computer and it doesn't do exactly what they want them to do, which my mom's called me lots of times to help her out with that, we experience that same thing when we feel like we have the capacity to use technology, but that technology is not working well with us. So at the end of the day, it's just really using resources to their full capacity and thinking of the experience the other is going to have when interacting with them, I think.
If I can add on to that, the big thing at Driscoll that's going on right now is that nobody knows how to use their new fancy MacBook or their new fancy projector. So like their computer will fall asleep and they'll call Mr. Thomas, our computer teacher, and say, I don't know what's going on, it won't work. So while they're calling Mr. Thomas, me or one of my friends will go up and we'll push the space bar and it'll open right up. They're like, oh, you're geniuses. So like they're not teaching the teachers how to use the technology they're giving them, which I think is a big problem.
And at the same time, just adding on to that, you don't always need to use technology to impress students. Like in my French class, for example, we go to the lab on the computer lab every Thursday to use the computers and use them as a resource to enhance our learning through audiovisual experiences. But we've never been more excited than when the teacher says, take the mini whiteboards out, right? So technology is awesome, but also you don't have to be completely dependent on it to, don't feel like you need to use technology to make a good student experience.
Okay, thank you. We only have a couple more minutes left, but I wanted to open it up to questions, if anybody had any questions to ask.
I have a question, but this is really maybe and you guys can answer it some, but maybe Jennifer, you and Scott could as well. I work with a lot of kids in Steps to Success, and they have not learned how to keyboard, and so writing is very difficult for them. They can hunt and peck. Were you guys taught? Were you required to pass a keyboarding test?
Yeah.
You were.
In 3rd grade.
Barely.
Or, yeah.
It wasn't really a test. It was more like, here's the program that teaches you how to type. You can use it if you want. I'm not really gonna look over you. Like, try and learn.
Are there, in your experiences, have there been any places where people have said you need to know how to use this program before you can go on, like PowerPoint or Excel or?
Well, I learned, we had you mean keyboard like,
How to
Touch
type.
typing?
right, yeah, so we had, so it wasn't 3rd grade, it was 5th grade actually. It was so much fun for me, we had this, like just a keyboard and you would do games on it. So it taught you how to do, and it was hard work at first, but now I'm typing efficiently and quickly.
Okay.
And so that was really fun, I had a good experience with that. So just at like an early age making something like like a game, because kids can learn really quickly.
Yeah.
And just they can learn when they don't think they're learning too.
I know we've had these conversations for years about tech competencies, that kids should be able to do some basic things, and what you guys are doing sounds really cool. I wonder how we can get to the point where all kids, so if you're lucky enough to know Chrissy, that she can sneak you into classes, that's awesome, that's great. If she, can find you, but, I don't know how many classes you get to teach and how many kids you get to interact with. It seems like we have the exceptional, and then I'm wondering how that's gonna get down to everyone else.
Right.
One of the biggest problems with my coding class right now is, like, I tell kids, like, type variable, and they first of all, they don't know how to spell it, and second of all, like, it takes them 8 minutes to type it.
Yeah.
Or when I'm teaching in Blender, I said press Shift A, and they don't know where Shift is. And these are, like, kids that are in, like, or just entered 5th grade, and if they don't know where, like, the Shift key is, they're gonna have a lot of trouble typing, because they're gonna have to push caps lock, and then every time they want to type a capital letter.
Right.
So we do have to wrap it up. Does anyone have any last questions? Yes, Jennifer.
It's not a question at all. It is, it's a gigantic thank you.
Yeah.
For your courage to prepare to come speak here to all of us, and sharing your stories. And I have to say, your story is very, very moving.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank all of you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a lunch break now, real quick, and then usher everybody into the Ed Studio for the Design Thinking Crash Course, which we have 2 hours for, and we need all of the 2 hours. So,
Yeah.
thank you.